We're gonna do a little introduction video on the Miata today, and most importantly, the beast right here, the heart of the Miata. So starting with what you can see on the Miata here, we've got a Simpson Racing cowl hood. It looks like a black hood, but it's actually a really dark green. I don't know if we're going to be able to get it here in the video, but we'll probably wrap it black to match, to not look out of place with the rest of the car. Right now the front suspension and brakes is stock, other than the T1i coilovers, as you can see. They're bright green right there. And they're just, I think, Teen Street Basics, just something to get us going, get us out on the track fast. And right here on the ground is the T5 that'll go behind the LS for now till we blow it up, because that's probably going to happen. Now this isn't on hinges, so the front is tube framed, and it has square tubing, like 3" by 3" square tubing to extend the frame out to the front, where it's got the posts for the hood latches, which was not for this hood, obviously. So we'll come back here to the interior. Interior is kind of full right now of like the dash and stuff, but as you can see, all aftermarket wiring. So starting over here, there's an AIM digital dash, and for the steering wheel we have an NRG short quick release hub on there to attach our Momo steering wheel. And then we got all our relays and fuses right here. And then the ECU, which ECU is actually sitting right there right now, and the ECU mounts right up here under the dash. Really nice, out of the way, and easy to get to. And there's a OBD2 port as well that will hang down, so when we want to mess with it with HP tuners, we can. So as you can see, this is fully caged. It's got door bars and everything, and the doors are completely gutted. It's just the skin. Doors are completely gutted, just the skin. Nice, super lightweight and thin. And then, see, we got a cluster cover that we fixed. It was cracked. There's a crack there, and then one that went all the way across, and basically just like plastic welded it back together. And then the actual dash pad is here. It's just a 1.6 dash pad, and you can see our coilovers, our other coilovers sitting in here. This sheet metal piece here goes up under the dash to kind of cover up the water lines that go from the front all the way to back here, which is what we're going to do next. So this stuff's 3M safety walk. You can just buy it in big rolls and cut it out yourself buy it on like Amazon or whatever. But we're going to put that all over the floor. 3M safety walk. This little cover here. We've got our fuel tank, actually. We got to pull it back out. It's still leaking out of the sumps. Don't know why. I've already pulled it out once, cleaned them all off, and put the caps back on it, but whatever. It's only a 5-gallon fuel cell. It doesn't weigh much. so it's pretty easy to pull out, and it's just got AN lines everywhere, so not a big deal. We'll get that pulled out, cleaned up. Maybe we'll paint it or something. But yeah, 5-gallon fuel cell, Bosch 044, I believe. And then this right here is one of those Corvette filter regulators. Fuel filter and regulator in one. There's not much else to say about that. It's pretty straightforward and a really easy way to get a fuel injection system into a car that had a different system or was even carbureted. This way, you have one line coming off the pump going into it, up on this side, and then this is the output to the engine, so you're only running one line up to the engine, and then the return goes back into the tank. And then right here, you might have just saw, we have our fire extinguisher system. It has one nozzle right here. That's one nozzle. And then coming inside, has a nozzle right back there that points forward into the driver area. And then it has another line, as you can see, that goes up under here, goes up through the tunnel and into the engine bay. It sprays right on the back of the engine. And the handle for that is right over there. I have a pin in it so it can't accidentally be pulled or caught when getting in and out of the car. So that's why it's got a little tag hanging on it, just so nobody accidentally messes with it. But oh yeah, here's our Momo. We got a Momo. Can't reach it from this side. And a Kirky Racing seat. Pretty basic racing stuff. Only thing that's not going to be on the digital dash, a fuel level gauge, which is going to be on the right hand side of the cluster. And then a oil pressure gauge is going to be on the left hand side. One more thing back here that I kind of skipped over is the radiator. We have a nice big aluminum racing radiator with 2 fans on it. And right now the underside of the car is completely bare. There's no plastics, there's no metal sheeting or anything like that. So once I get the car running and driving, I'm going to go buy probably a couple big sheets of like ABS plastic or maybe some like high grade aluminum, and I'm gonna do complete ducting and smooth the underside of the car and duct air up to the radiator here from down below. Basically it comes in, the air would come in right in front of the rear diff, which the rear diff will be like from here back is about where the rear subframe starts. So the ducting would be kind of up, but we'd probably start right about at this firewall and then come up to the radiator. And then there's a trunk lid shell with some holes in it back here as well, and basically the air comes up through the back. Basically the air will come up from the bottom and then through the radiator and then out these holes and out the 2 big vents in the back of in the trunk. Okay, so now moving on to the good stuff. So we got the engine and transmission and the rest of the drivetrain, which is actually, we got the engine, which I'll get to in a second, transmission, which is just a T5, and then we got the rear diff, which is a 488. It'll just be a limited slip. I think our ratio is 3.27 right now. Probably stick with that. T5, general T5 out of a Camaro. It's not the strongest transmission by far, but should get the job done for now. So now on to the engine. So what we started with was a 6-liter truck block. We took it to Adams Metallizing. It's a machine shop, Adams, it's in Lancaster. They bored it 30 over. They put new cam bearings in, and they did an align hone with our ARP main studs. Then for the crank, it's just a factory GM 4.8 liter crank, so it's a short stroke. It's 3.27 inches stroke, and combined it with DSS Racing pistons, flat tops, 4.03 inch bore, and we're sitting rated around 334 cubic inches. And once we had that, factory 4.8 liter rods as well. We sent them out and they rebushed the small end. And instead of the wrist pins being press fit, now they are floating wrist pin. So once we were done with the bottom end, we went and looked for some heads. We got some LS3 heads, stock, just bone stock LS3 heads with dual valve springs. Stock size valves though. The springs were already on it, which is good because our cam is a comp cam. I don't have all the specs for the comp cam off the top of my head. I'll have to go look those up, but I believe it's 613 lift. I don't remember the duration or lobe separation right now, but I will put those up on screen once I get it. For valve covers, these are just, factory valve covers that I painted wrinkle black. ARP hardware. Pretty much everything on this engine is going to be ARP hardware. Then we have Holley fuel rails with 60-pound injectors and a factory LS3 intake. And sitting on the intake, we've got a 102 millimeter throttle body. Now you can see these here, these big wings. They are actually the engine mounts, and that's how Danny had the engine mounted in when he was racing the car in Formula Drift. And then right here you can see we have some adapters for a big block electric water pump. This had an electric water pump, but it had a LS specific one, and those are just way too expensive. It's cheaper to just get these adapters and a big block water pump for about half the cost of an LS electric water pump. And so that's what we're going to do with that. This front cover is just powder coated black, ARP crank bolt. I have a pulley for it, but it's Corvette spacing and it hits this right here. So we're probably going to have to chop that off. This cover came off of another engine that was going to be used with a big turbo. So the headers we have on here are Sanderson. I don't know if we can. There we go. Sanderson street rod headers. I'm not sure the exact size on them. The outlet is 2.5, and we have some 2.5 inch downpipes that go with those as well. These are the headers that Danny had on the car when he was drifting it. Flywheel is just a Jegs regular flywheel. There's nothing fancy. The clutch will probably be something like a LS7 clutch, maybe something like that. Nothing crazy. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions about the engine or the Miata, feel free to hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. I'll put the links down there in the description for those. But until next time, thanks for checking out Will's Builds, and we will see you.